Welcome to Worth Wandering with Sarah and Brody. Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Brody.
And welcome to
Worth Wandering. I
Okay,
told you it wasn't going to work.
It'll
never work.
It did work. Okay, whatever.
I think he's purposely doing it like that.
He is. He's like trying to fuck with me and I don't like it.
He knows.
He sees right through you, Brody. Which the he that we are referring to right now is my dear friend Thaddeus, who is coming on today to talk about his wild life journey. There's so many things on the docket. There's so much that we can talk about. So first, just welcome Thaddeus, one of the most amazing people that I know. Thaddeus, give us anything that you think the audience should know about you. Like maybe what do you do?
I am a property owner. I own and manage rentals.
We have one set of renters and I'm overwhelmed by it.
So it seems to get more every year though, even though I'd like to not. I keep telling myself I won't buy another one and then it happens. And I'm like, well, that happened.
So how many do you have now? And are they all in the same state?
No, we have building in Missouri as well that we have a main second floor and the first floor. The second floor is rented to a tenant, and then the main floor we have converted to an Airbnb.
Oh,
that's smart.
That is awesome.
That's where the big money's at right now.
I like Airbnb guests way more.
Oh, I'm sure.
I bet actually that makes a lot of sense. They have
you have way more control over a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Versus...
Yeah, we thought about doing that with our condo and apparently can't because we have an HOA.
Yeah, if it's part of those CC&Rs, then that's going to limit you greatly.
Yeah. Okay, so you have one in Missouri, right? And the other ones that you have are where you live?
Iowa. No, we actually live in Missouri now. Well,
Wait.
Very
cool. You do?
Yeah.
Why did I think you were in Iowa?
We were.
Okay, what?
We got some catching up to do, people.
I know, seriously.
So, Thaddeus, why don't you go ahead and give us a rundown of your life?
Full rundown. Age. No, I'm just kidding.
Aren't we the same age?
I don't know. I'm 33.
Nope, you're younger than me.
How old are you?
I'll be 35 next week.
Happy early birthday.
Happy Smurf Day. So we got a 35, 34, and a 33 over here. That's cool.
I'm
34.
Sarah, when is my birthday?
Okay. It is.
Ooh, spotlight.
It's like it was supposed to be. Is it?
I like it.
It's February 4th.
Yes.
It was the day before Oliver was born. And I remember because he was like,
damn
it, you didn't push hard enough. I tried my damnedest, but it didn't work. He was born at like 4:30 in the afternoon, so not even close.
You had to push real hard.
It's actually
when was
really
Milo
funny.
born?
So I was just gonna say, it's weird. Oliver was born a day after your birthday, Thaddeus, and then Milo was born July 6th, which was right in between my grandfather and my father's side birthday, which was the 5th, who he's named after, Asa. And now this is really sad. My aunt, who just passed away 2 nights ago, her birthday is the day after. So it's like all of our kids are like sandwiched in between beautiful humans' birthdays.
What was your aunt's name?
Natalie.
I always forget. Natalie. This one is to Natalie. May your family and your soul rest in peace. And I know that you were a beloved one to many and you inspired many. I know that Sarah talked about you greatly, and I know that I've met Natalie a couple times. Yeah. However, I have not seen her in a very long time.
She was beautiful till the end. She is like one of those
looked
people...
just as beautiful.
Yeah.
Just in the video you posted the other day of her as from the time I met her. So rest in peace.
Thank you, Brody. That's so nice. I wasn't even planning on talking about her, but it's a fresh one. But anyway, thank you for that beautiful moment.
Of course.
Okay, so let's dive right into this, shall we?
Oh,
okay.
I do. I want to know a lot.
There's so much that we want to know. And I know that there's some things that you feel really passionate to talk about. Do you want to start with a little bit of your background, like where and how you were raised?
How long do we have?
As long as we want.
I'm going to start a few years ago, actually. I was just like reading articles about people that had grown up Jehovah's Witness and were no longer. And I came across this article that said Jehovah's Witnesses are among the lowest educated and the poorest of any religion on the planet.
Whoa.
And I was like,
Whoa.
wow, I can really see that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
why though?
Because it teach you basically or tell you that your entire goal is to go on to live in paradise, or on paradise earth is what they call it. So
Okay.
basically your life on this earth doesn't matter. You're just trying to do good and move on.
Okay.
And
So your
it's really
whole
just you're
goal in
paying your
life
dues.
from birth, it sounds, is to make it to death or to another life.
Isn't that also another belief in some other cultures that the idea of karma is that what you do in this life matters for how good or bad your life is going to be in the next life? Or
Well,
is
I
this
think
less
karma's
about
more of like
lives?
what's going to
karma
happen,
seems
like
less
to you.
crazy.
This, if I do something, if I give a homeless person $5, then if I run out of gas, some bystander is going to help me push my car to the gas station. Like, that's to me is what karma is, relatively, not necessarily in another life. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So is the difference when they're talking about karma and it carries on to your next life, you're not talking about another life, it's an afterlife, a place that is perfect, and it's like a heaven.
No, it's actually, they think that basically Earth is going to explode and everyone's going to die except for the good people.
Oh,
Stop, really?
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What about when you die?
When you die,
Like, do they just think that the world's going to explode every single day until it doesn't?
That was two people. What?
Sorry.
If they think the world's going to explode and you're just going to
It's
live
not
on
going
all
to
the bad
literally
people.
explode, but you're going to, the good people are going to come back to life, and then
Oh, okay.
blah, blah, blah.
That's deep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, so then the values that they teach you are do good? Sorry, my face. Everybody has to watch this one on YouTube because my face is just, this is very interesting.
So, yes, but to a fault. Like, you're
Okay.
not supposed to associate with anybody that's outside of the religion. Your goal is basically to recruit people, and
so your only association is to try and get them to be part of your religion.
yes,
Got
to be
it.
part of your cult.
Did you say part of the occult or part of a cult?
Part of your cult.
Yeah. Wow, that's intense.
Yeah.
And so you grew up
So from, I think I was around 5, maybe a little bit earlier, is when my mom decided that she was going to rejoin the church. And so basically at that point, no more Christmases, no more birthdays, no more all these things that they don't celebrate. It was weird because like all of our friends are doing Christmas and birthdays and stuff, and we were just not allowed.
Wow.
So basically it was like we had all that stuff and then we didn't have all that stuff. So
yeah,
it was just always odd.
Yeah.
I guess I have blocked out a lot of the religious parts of it. I remember going as a child and I remember just different aspects of it, but some of it kind of like, you're a kid, you don't care about that shit.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and so do they believe in God? They believe in Jesus?
Yes.
Or is it a complete different
Nope,
thing?
they believe it's basically the same, just to all of the religious extremes you can imagine. We don't sacrifice people.
Okay, that's good. This is
We're headed somewhere. We're heading in the right direction, at least.
So my childhood was it was difficult for me, just in general, because not just you're Jehovah's Witness, but we moved a lot. So
is that common in like for Jehovah Witness families, or?
It's common in crazy families.
Respect that.
Were they just like restless and wanted to kind of hop place to place?
So my dad worked on radio and broadcast towers.
Oh.
So my family moved to Texas. specifically Abilene, Texas. Don't know if you know anything about Abilene, but it's in the middle of
Nope.
nowhere.
Definitely don't. Where did you move from? So like, where were you born?
So I
Iowa?
was born in Iowa, yes.
Got it.
Like near Omaha.
Okay. Wait,
So
there's an Omaha, Iowa and an
Omaha,
Nebraska?
Nebraska. No, near
Oh,
Omaha.
okay.
It's
See,
like
I
right
don't know
next to each other.
anything. I am that like fake beauty queen who doesn't know where things are on a map in the United States. It's bad.
I think I knew this about you.
I'm so bad at geography. It's not even funny. And I've been a lot of places. So the places I've been, I know.
I really wanted you to say geometry right there.
I'm really bad at geometry. I am bad at geometry too. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Puff harder.
It's CBD.
Puff, puff.
Okay, keep going. So it was hard for you, not just because you were Jehovah's Witness, but moving around.
So we moved to Abilene, lived there for basically a semester, and then moved to Fort Worth. Do you know where that's at?
I do.
Look at you. We're talking bigger cities now.
Do know, yes.
Basically,
do you see the shade he's throwing at me, Brody?
You make
I love it
so easy.
Don't you dare.
I'm taking it all in. It's nice to have someone else do it instead of me for once.
Just sit idly by. Anyway, go ahead.
So, mind you, all these cities, my mom is a very active person in the church. So our friends basically were in the church, or we didn't have friends.
Okay.
We lived in Fort Worth for a very short period of time. I don't remember exactly how long. Moved back to Iowa, back in the church, no friends really. So I'll note at this time, after 7th grade, my mom's brother died in an accident.
Oh, God.
He was 10 years younger than she was. And she took it very hard because he lived with us for a very long time. And so basically, I described that time in my life as my mom stopped being a mom because she was very broken, which obviously wasn't her fault, but that was when we were teenagers and probably needed the most guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's time in your life when you need your mom. You need a parental, you need a figure.
Right. And mind you, my dad is still working on the road. So literally we lived in Texas and my dad lived in Oklahoma because that's where his job was. And so basically my mom was gone, my dad was gone, and we were just teenagers doing what teenagers do. I don't know.
Yeah.
So then my mom got a brilliant idea that would have been spring break of my sophomore year. Literally, my mom decided we were moving one weekend and the next weekend we moved.
Okay. Brody has I feel like a similar kind of story in that moment.
I think I knew part of that story.
Wow.
We moved from a school system where my class was 600 to a school system that my class was 60.
Wow.
Like a class of 600.
Jesus.
Even not being a popular person, you can have friends. A class of 60, they all went to school together their whole lives.
And you were the new kid.
Yep. So basically after the spring break to the end of the year, I was like, I hate this place. So the way our school was set up in Texas, I had enough credits. So basically I skipped junior year. I went from being a sophomore to a senior. That made a whole, there weren't any friends that I may have had. So then I graduated a year early, but that basically meant that I didn't have any fluff classes my senior year. I worked my ass off to get there.
Yeah.
Because I literally went into our counselor's office or whatever he was, or isn't it called a counselor?
Yeah.
And said, if you don't skip me, I'm dropping out. And he said, you have enough credits, so might as well. I'm like, perfect.
Okay, great.
So I graduated, no honors, nothing special.
Yeah.
And basically my
You
whole
just got through.
upbringing did not lend itself to planning anything for the future. And, maybe I'll go to college, but I don't know what I'm going to go to college for because I have no passion for anything, because any passion I had was sucked out by the religion and saying we're going to die anyway, so what's the point?
Yeah. Oh my God. So intense.
And not just that, but my parents being very hands-off parents until basically the time we moved back to Iowa the last time. So I started college. I went for 2 months and I'm like, I hate this. This is stupid. So I just dropped out and just started working full time.
Wow.
So my working full time was still in bumfuck Iowa, and me still a different person. I'm going to say different because growing up, gay was not a thing that was talked about. It was not a thing that I understood. I have an aunt that's gay. I just didn't know what it meant. Had no idea.
Yeah.
But it was just nothing that was ever talked about. I didn't know that you could actually be with the person of the same sex.
Yeah.
So basically I graduated high school. I knew I was different. I knew that I was gay, but I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know that I could be with somebody and be gay.
Yeah.
So I graduated high school, college a little bit, and then went to work full time. I worked at that job for basically 3 years. But when I was 19, I came out because I've moving out of my parents' house. I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. And again, still didn't know what it meant. And it was just like, oh, I'm gay and I can be with a man.
But had you thought about it before or fantasized about it without recognizing that it was okay to do that
connection?
Obviously, I knew that I liked men more than women, but I didn't know. Like I said, I knew I was gay, but I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know that I could be with another man, because my whole life I'd been told that if you're gay, you're going to hell, or you're not going to hell. You're just dying forever. You're dead forever.
Wow.
So even after I came out, my mom was like, "Oh, is this just a phase you're going through or whatever, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, no, I'm gay. She's like, just think about it. And I'm like, okay, but no.
Yeah. Thank you. Moving on. Yeah.
And thinking back on it, now, I probably knew that I was gay when I was 5 years old. Because you have a friend or whatever that you feel differently about than your other friends or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, I was gay.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's also, it's so crazy what this lack of education does to young brains. This whole idea that you don't talk to your kids about sex either is so provenly not a good way to go, because it really damages this idea of the world that you have growing up. And so I can't imagine what that self-discovery journey must have looked like without having any resources or information, because you've only heard one thing and it lacked a lot of detail.
Due to my mom's religion, we were never allowed to go to a sex ed class or anything like that.
Oh,
so
boy.
Basically you're shoved out into the world, good luck.
Yeah. Okay.
Literally, that's what it's like.
Really quickly, I know that this is a weird sidebar, but it's related. So have either of you seen Bridgerton? Hot damn, you need to watch it. So any listeners who have watched Bridgerton will know what I'm talking about. But basically, she gets married to this guy, and her mom is trying to tell her the night of her wedding night to have the sex talk and doesn't say anything. She goes, certain events will transpire on your wedding night. And she's okay. And then the wedding night happens and she goes, why didn't you tell me anything about this? I really needed to know because I didn't know what was okay and what was not okay. So interesting. Sorry. Okay, my Bridgerton thing is over. I've been binge watching it.
I'm not a TV or movie person.
You're weird.
I know. It's just I think I
Each
get
their own.
bored too easily. Maybe I'm ADHD or ADD and I just don't know
Something
it.
like that.
Maybe.
We all are. Sarah's a big squirrel.
Yes.
Yeah, see? You say it, she looks. So I'm curious then. So you had so you didn't come out until you said what, 19?
Yes.
And this was right after you graduated, or were you in your first year of college?
First year, like first couple months. No, I didn't come out until actually I quit college and started.
I was going to say you'd have been a little bit longer.
Started working. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Because you graduated early. I'm like, you were only 19 and you were already done with college?
Remember, he skipped junior year. So he went from sophomore to senior. So he's already graduating when you were 17?
I think I was 18 because I was already older. But
oh, okay.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah. But
so then do you think the lack of a parental figure in your life made you not understand like how you feeling different as a person? You couldn't talk to anybody. You weren't allowed to, converse with anyone else except for in the eye of, hey, you want to be a Jehovah's Witness? No. Okay, on to the next one. Hey, you want to be Jehovah's Witness? No, on the next one. So you're cut off all ties. You had that isolation there. You had the lack of a parental figure to actually talk to and console in, and then you thrown out into this big new world. So what made you decide to go to your mom and say, because you obviously didn't have much of a relationship with her at this point, right?
I guess at that point, okay, so I guess another thing, when I was
I love it.
A senior, I believe my mom actually went and became a truck driver. So
what?
Yes. So she was gone for a long time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're gone for a while.
Yeah, she wasn't there. And then basically I was forced out of the closet by a story that we probably won't go into, but yes. And so
by who?
Why are you asking this question?
No, because if it forced you to come out, I imagine you do not have to answer this, but I imagine it was somebody that you knew.
His mom. They were friends with my dad.
Mm.
And were they happy about this?
Who, my dad?
No. Yeah.
No, not at all.
But the family, yeah.
But
okay.
They got over it. I think I guess everybody has over time, but literally before this moment in my life, I never had a relationship with my dad. We fought horribly. And then the minute I came out, it's like everything changed. I gained a relationship with my dad that I never had before. And
whoa.
Yeah. So
that's not something you usually hear.
No. But on
to
the
go from no relationship to a good one.
The other side of the coin, my relationship with my mother was already strained. So it became strained more. And so basically I'm 19 years old and I tell my mom that I'm gay and she's, are you sure? And I thought about this today after I was talking to you for a little bit. And so I had a friend in high school, after we moved back to Iowa, that was gay.
Yeah.
And my mom, he was my only friend pretty much. Aww. And my mom, one time he came over for the weekend or whatever, and he left. And my mom's, you better be careful of him. I think he's gay. And I'm like,
wow.
I'm be careful. Whoa.
I'm thinking back now, I'm just be careful of what?
Yeah. Whoa. We're now getting into the stereotypes that people who are uneducated about sexuality would say, that like you'll catch it or they'll molest you or take advantage of you, but
and
that
a
ain't
lot of
right.
so what people don't understand too is straight relationships are held to a lesser expectation than gay relationships.
Oh,
For one, if you're in a relationship in high school or you're gay, it's just, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. But it's okay to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend in high school if you're straight. It's perfectly fine. You go to prom and blah blah blah. But clear up until recently, it was not okay to take someone to prom of the same sex. And in a lot of places, it's still not okay.
I can't even.
Well, it's, you know, like you said, your mom asked you a question when you said you were gay. She said, is this just a phase? Or this is probably just a phase. They probably think if there are kids in middle school, high school that are having these experiences and coming and finally realizing who they are as an individual and coming out of the closet and this stuff. And their parents, people say, oh, you shouldn't do that or you can't do that, because they think they're still growing and evolving and that it is just a phase for these people in high school.
And it 100% might be, but like sexuality is obviously a spectrum, because it's not, you don't have to be all the way over here. You don't have to be all the way over here. You don't have to be in the middle. You can be anywhere in here. And people just don't think about it that way. Like I said, thinking back now, I knew I was gay when I was 5 years old, but I didn't know what it meant. And you see too many times now is like people giving grief to children or preteens or whatever coming out of the closet or coming out as trans or anything like that.
Yeah.
When they probably know, if they're familiar with what it means, they know. Right. So if I would have known and if it would have been okay, like preteen would have been realistic. Like I have friends that their parents pretty much like, when are you coming out of the closet? You gonna bust out or you gonna dance? Or I wasn't
like a steaming kettle, the lid just pop off. Hi guys.
Yeah. And that's you bring this up because that is something in the trans world right now where a lot of kids from pretty early on know that they're trans, but because it's such a big decision, parents are very much, oh, give it some time and think it through. And it's got to be frustrating for the person on the other side who knows exactly who they are and what they want and not being able to communicate that. Because also for people who are not in that identity, you have been taught your whole life that it's normal to experiment. And so maybe that's just what's happening, but it's also that you're not trusting what your kid is saying. It's an interesting like back and forth.
I guess what hit me about my mom is like I was 19 years old. Like
you're right.
I was 19 years old with my upbringing, with my mother, with my father, and I had already gone through all of the motions in my head of like, is this real? Can I change it? And it's no, you can't. So it just
So what do you mean by change it? Because it was not acceptable?
Right.
In your religion?
Like I had gone through all of the phases of I can't change this. This is who I am, even though it's not okay. I'm gonna die and go to hell and whatever else.
Oh, poor
but
thing. I can't even.
So you went through you essentially went through like the stages of grief when like someone dies, in a sense. You're sitting there going through, okay, like you probably have some sort of like depression, right? At some point, I'm guessing, because do you feel trapped? Did you feel trapped internally as like a person, not feeling like you could be yourself and live this lifestyle that you want to live, but you don't know how to live because you don't know what it means and you don't feel like you're going to be accepted in the world?
And I think that's like basically was my whole life. Like not just being trapped because I was gay, but being trapped because I had no direction leaving high school. It goes back to the quote that said, Jehovah's Witnesses are among the poorest and least educated of any religion on the planet.
Is it part of the world to not trust education systems? I mean,
no,
is there no priority on school?
there was
They have
no
values.
priority on it because
they had a set of values. It seemed like that was,
yes,
this is what this is, and that's all that it is.
yes,
It's this or nothing.
And so there was no direction. And like, I'm 35 years old, and it took me until my late 20s to figure out, okay, what am I doing with my life and where am I going? And mind you, me and my husband have been together for 10 years, and we were like halfway into our relationship, and I'm still like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what though?
I
But
think
that is
like
so many people.
Yes, Brody, this is my motto, is that as an educator, I see so many students come in at all different ages, but especially these 18, 19-year-olds, they're sitting there having panic attacks going, I don't know what I want to pick as a major because I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I'm like, you have been unfairly put in a position by society to choose what you want to do for the rest of your life at a young age. That is the most crazy thing in the world, because first of all, we can do many things in our lifetime. You are not limited to one. Second of all, we are 18 and 19 when we're asked to make big life decisions. No, I'm barely understanding what my vagina does. Come on. That was gross.
Just like Thaddeus said, Thaddeus is thrown out into the world as an 18-year-old graduating high school, where you've had this whole completely different lifestyle that you have not been, like, you've been shown nothing. You have, like you said, and no direction. And then you're graduating your senior year. Well, have you picked a career yet? And it's old world thinking to think that you have to pick a job and have that job for the next 50 years until you retire, and then sit around and die. It's almost like that thought, that lifestyle that people used to push on even when we were kids. That was still very common because we're all around the same age, basically. It sounds just like Jehovah Witness culture in a sense. It's you have to do this and that's it. And you're expected to just have that one career. Whereas nowadays, like, your 20s is one, to fuck off and do as much of whatever you want, because your 30 is okay. I tried a bunch of shit, didn't work. Let me maybe buckle down a little bit, try some more things, but at least have some income coming in, a roof over my head. Like, you still haven't even lived half your life. Especially nowadays, you hit 40, you still have a whole nother half life to live.
Yeah, the idea that you need to figure out exactly what you're doing with your life at every moment, just at any age, is
no. You can do whatever you want. Change careers every 5 years if you want. More power to you. No judgment.
I'm definitely that person. I'm like, every 10 years, I got to do something different.
And then being married to Nick, like, he has known what he was going to do since he was 12 years old.
And that's awesome.
Oh my God, no way. Software engineer?
I mean, it wasn't software engineer, but he wanted to be a systems administrator.
Oh my God.
From 12, he knew that?
Cute. Okay, wait.
Kudos to him, man. That's awesome.
Just really quick, can we back up just a second? You need to just give us a quick rundown on who Nick is. He's amazing. Nick is worked with my husband at the same company on the same team. Now they're on different teams, but that's how Thaddeus and
everyone work at Riot along with your husband. This is ridiculous.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Right, Thaddeus?
Yes.
It's like a freaking cult itself.
It is, yes.
It is.
So in LA, basically, our friends were rioters. Like, we didn't know anyone that wasn't. So
Careful. Don't throw that term around too loosely right now.
Rioters.
Sorry. Joke in my head. This sounded a lot better. But anyways,
okay,
continue.
so but you and Nick have been married. When did you get married and how did you meet? I just need a little bit of background here.
Just a little bit.
The juicy background.
So it's cool, but I'll get to the cool part at the end. But at the beginning, Nick and I met on Facebook. MySpace.
MySpace.
Damn.
So
OG social media.
So mind you, we both lived in bumfuck Iowa, and MySpace, you could search for people that were looking, like men looking for men or men looking for women.
Really?
Or whatever. Yes.
Could you really?
Yes. I didn't know MySpace did that. That's how in the dark I was.
So that's how we met, and we dated actually 15 years ago. That obviously did not work out. I was 20, almost 21, and he was 18, almost 19. Oh my God.
Cradle robber.
Sorry.
I'm going to have to show you pictures someday.
I really need to see these.
When Nick had hair.
Oh my God. Also, you're rocking his hairstyle right now, like super buzz cut.
Because I can't go in public to get it cut.
I know. Anyway, okay, so I didn't actually know that you guys had been together early on, and then how long?
We were only together for a couple months, and then we both went on to make our own really bad decisions.
Okay, get them out of the way now.
As you should.
Basically, I had just gotten out of a really bad relationship, and I met a bunch of people, and they were all friends with him, and I was like, okay, so that's cool. So we reconnected, and then he got out of a really bad relationship, and we moved in together. We were roommates.
Oh my God.
I thought you knew this before.
No, I haven't heard this story.
So we were roommates for a year and a half.
Platonic roommates after having had...
Platonic. You're funny.
Okay, great. No.
Obviously.
Okay. This is what I
dear
wanted.
Lord.
These are the juicy details.
Oh, Lord.
I know I'm not ready for that level of intimacy on the show.
We should have warned him how.
Okay. So your roommates.
Wait.
What?
Hey, shots.
A literal shot. Oh, now it's getting crazy. Now I don't have a drink with me right now because I was rushing to get here. I'll just hit this again.
Touché.
Oh my God. Okay. So roommates for how long before you guys were like, hey?
Okay. So we moved in together in February, and a year and a half later, basically, is when we got together.
Oh my God. What?
He had literally just gotten out of a relationship, and so it looked really bad on paper. But,
yeah. Oh my God. But Michael and mine doesn't look super great on paper either.
But we literally got together pretty much a week or two after that.
Oh, hey.
But we had already lived together for a year and a half.
And you'd already dated like years and years ago.
Yeah,
too.
like come on.
Years. So Nick started working at Riot 5.5 years ago, I think.
Okay. And so how long was that after you guys had met and started dating again?
So 4.5 years.
Weren't you already married when he came to work at Riot?
No. Nope.
What?
So literally he moved to LA and I was still in Omaha because
right.
I was doing stuff. I had to sell our house and manage selling another property. And that's when I basically got into the rental business. But so my husband proposed to me via text message.
No, he did not.
Sarah.
What?
You know him.
Yeah, but I thought he would at least be like in person, but doing it awkwardly.
He didn't write some code or something that like decrypted itself and like.
What? Okay, what was it on his lunch break? He's hey.
I don't remember. I was in Iowa. I was literally sitting at the table with his mother.
What?
He texts this to me, and I think the message specifically said, "I think I'm ready to get married now." Just like, what the
Okay,
fuck?
actually, can I just say that sounds like an actually really good, really close relationship? Because that sounds like Michael and I, we talked about our wedding and the marriage way before he ever actually officially proposed, because it was just like, we know we're going to get married. It's just whenever we're ready for it.
So this must have happened in like February or March. Literally, I was sitting at the table with his mother, and she just looked at me and she's, "What just happened?" And I was like,
well, just text.
Let me tell you a story.
Text engaged.
We talked to our accountant, and she's, "It'd be best if you got married this year." And I'm like, okay.
For tax purposes.
So we got married in September.
Oh my God. What?
So 2021 is our 5, 10, 15-year anniversary.
Okay, wait, hold on. 5-year wedding anniversary.
15 years of meeting. 10 years of dating, 5 years of being married.
That's so cute. That is so, wait, is all on the same day?
No,
it's
all at the end of
Okay.
It's all at the end of the year, though. We met in the end of October, beginning of November. We started dating in August, and we got married in September.
Oh my God, so cute.
I'm curious, did you find that dating was difficult coming from the lifestyle that you grew up in? A, because you had just recently come out, and B, you were so closed off from so much.
So mind you, I'm 35 years old, not yet, very nearly, and I am still a broken individual. Like,
oh, no.
This is not stuff that gets fixed. Like,
Right.
There is no diagnosable thing wrong with me, but that's probably only by luck.
Yeah, hold on. I'm like, there's got PTSD and trauma are very real.
So
elaborate on that, because I guarantee you there's people that are not going through obviously your exact situation, but that have struggled in similar circumstances in life that still might feel the same way you might, or you did, or
so my family has a history of mental illness. My sister's bipolar. Think my mom's bipolar. I'm not sure.
Yeah, wow.
My sister suffers from severe anxiety. I think my mom suffers from depression. My brother has ADD, and I don't know if he's bipolar, but he might be. But like, I'm a broken person. There's no denying it. But like, I have my growing up and my 20s were very rough. I guess I developed coping mechanisms so I wouldn't become my mother or my sister or something like that. I have anxiety. Let's not pretend like that's real.
Yeah.
There are certain situations that I'm just like, nope, can't do that. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Wow.
But I always look at like the bright side of everything. Like, as hard as it is sometimes, like, I very much, the problems of yesterday don't matter today. The problems of today aren't going to matter tomorrow. And you can't change the past.
How do you convince yourself of that, though?
Every fucking day. Every day.
If you don't believe it, you say it to yourself that the problems of today won't matter tomorrow, and the problems of the past don't have any bearing on today.
Correct.
And you just keep telling yourself that.
I'm not saying yes every day. Every single day.
When did it come to you to actually start
mantra.
Implementing something like that?
I would say probably in my 30s. My 20s were hard. Obviously, when I got together with Nick, things were significantly easier, but like, I had the abusive relationship in my 20s, like literally beat the shit out of me, abusive relationship.
Sure.
And
oh my God.
I've been cheated on and just everything. And so basically, if it's 10 years or this year, so basically up till I got together with Nick, was very rough. Like, I did not have my shit together.
Is that partially, I can't imagine that you look at that as it's your fault, but it's circumstantial. No, it's the people that are around you that you trust and hurt you, and the situation of you being brought up in a certain way that I don't think sets you up for an easy future.
Right. But
you know,
I have to look at it like I can't change it.
Wow.
Because
that's beautiful.
The shit happened, and regardless of how bad the abusive relationship was, like literally broken nose, ruptured eardrum, like bad, like it made me who I am. Like, would I put myself through it again? Probably not. But
I see what you're saying.
That relationship led me on the path to be with Nick. So if I change that, then where am I? So
that's such a beautiful
It's
thing.
unfortunate to say that, Sarah, we've talked about this in the past of how there's playing a victim in life, and then there's taking responsibility for things that have happened in your life. And taking responsibility, like for for instance, saying you're a victim of assault or something, taking responsibility doesn't mean that it is your fault that caused that. It's taking
hell no.
ownership of your life as an individual and saying that you're worth more.
Exactly.
So it's like how you react to those situations that are out
Right.
of your control.
But the problem is, if you say that to a lot of people, especially people who play the victim, who have that victim mentality and can't break out of that, if you say, listen, you need to take responsibility for what happened. That's not my fault. He beat me or she beat me. It's not that someone's blaming you, saying that is your fault that you got the shit kicked out of you. It's that you need to take ownership of your life and identify and believe that you are worth a lot more than that, and that you have a lot of life to live.
I have a but.
Go for it.
But I agree for the most part. I think it's a lot easier to say it.
Everything's easier said than done.
No, but
I don't like that expression, it's easier said than done, because to me it's an excuse.
No, I don't think it's an excuse. I think it's like when you're going through it, it is much easier said than done. And things
absolutely.
Are hard. It doesn't mean I'm going to give up. But right now I'm going through like the worst depression and anxiety and OCD I've ever had. And I've had it throughout my life. And I have had moments today where I'm just like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it.
So
it's, yes, I can choose to be like, oh, I got to pick myself up and I got to say, no, you are going to do it because you have to for your kids and you got to. But all I'm saying is that I agree with that, because otherwise I don't know how I'd get through unless I said, all right, Sarah, snap yourself out of it. You got 2 kids to take care of today. You cannot wallow. Versus having moments where you can allow yourself to indulge in this fucking sucks also too.
So, yeah, but indulging I think is different. But I think Thaddeus has a good, based on what you were saying like earlier.
So mind you, everybody expects you to heal from damage in a certain time frame, or you're supposed to be better in this amount of time. Right. And like you're supposed to react to things that have happened in your life at a certain amount of time. But the reality of it is we weren't given a book. We weren't given a handbook. Everybody's going to handle it differently.
Yeah.
I have handled it differently than you're going to handle it, or anyone's going to handle it. And like, mind you, abusive relationships aren't just physical. Like you can be mentally destroyed by somebody and you don't even know it. And
oh my God, I had
what Sarah felt like Brody was saying was that when you're in the relationship, it's a lot harder to get out of it than people think, because that person has already convinced you that basically you're a worthless human being and that you're stuck. So
and you start to believe it. And so if you don't recognize that it's a choice, yeah.
And that actually, he jumped straight to a question that I even wrote down during what you were saying earlier was, then how do you get out of something like that?
So basically, I was given an out because this person was literally emotional, physical, abusive, and literally had 100 pounds in weight on me.
Oh God.
So my cousin actually was moving to town, and she pretty much didn't give me a choice. You're moving in with me. And by the way, you're paying half the rent. But I don't think I've thanked her enough in my life, because literally she got me out of that situation. And when I felt like I was helpless and I had no chance of getting out on my own. So I think everyone in that situation needs a person like her, but they might not know that person exists. But so literally I moved my shit out when he was sleeping, and I looked back many times, but I ended up
I'm
better
sure part of that's out of fear.
It very much, like I would wake up and go out to my car with notes written on it and like all kinds of shit because of something he did. And
wait, from him, or you wrote to yourself?
No, from him. And mind you, like all of these things that I went through made me who I am. So while everybody expects you to be a certain way due to your postpartum and stuff like that, you just started having kids 2 years ago. Like you're not going to know how to handle it. It's taken me this long to figure it out. it's also made me dull to a lot of emotions. Sarah caught me at a very bad time a couple weeks ago, and like I literally was crying all morning.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I cried since my wedding. And I didn't even really cry at my wedding. Like I teared up and was like, don't cry, don't cry.
Same. I'm usually a crier, but this year has thrown so much too that I don't know if this is what's happening for you, Thaddeus, but at least for me, it's bringing back, I mean, my depression and all this, but it's also bringing back past traumas because there's a lot of time to sit with yourself in this whole year. And there's so much being thrown at us that anybody who has any semblance of not being a robot, like my husband and your husband, are going to have
not
the robot. No, he's less of a robot, but it's this year has been so difficult that we're bound to have days where you just can't access the positivity and the optimism as much as you'd like to.
Right.
There are days where you're allowed to just fucking fall apart because it's too hard.
There was not a book that was written for us. But also it goes to I don't have the emotional range anymore. Like
I've become very numb recently.
Yes. So the day you were texting me, I have no idea why the fuck you even text me that day, but I like lost it.
Okay.
I lost it before that. And so I don't have emotions that everybody else has. I don't get annoyed at some things. I don't get mad because there's no point. I get annoyed, I guess, is probably the most extreme emotion. And I have depression, but nobody really sees it because I don't get sad. I don't have, that's not really an emotion that I feel. I get with my depression, I find that I have zero motivation. I just want to lay on the couch. Am I happy that I'm laying on the couch? Yes, I'm very happy, but I have no motivation to do anything. So I think people just get the idea that, oh, if you're depressed, you're supposed to be sad.
It doesn't look the same for everybody. Like for my depression, it is complete. And it's actually very tied to just very bad anxiety, but also just complete identity crisis. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I am. I wake up in like panic. It looks different for everybody.
And so basically like I even in depression, like I still wake up and like, today's a new day. I'm happy.
That's great.
Until some annoying person decides to screw it up.
Now, do you find that if say some annoying person screws that up, does that just screw up your whole day and make you shut down as like internally and emotionally?
Not generally, no. Nick and I actually had this conversation not long ago. We were driving back to St. Louis from Iowa, and I was like, thank you so much for not having a wide range of emotions because
God.
You're like, I could not handle that.
I could not handle it.
This is why Michael and I are so well matched too, just like the two of you, because I got more emotion for all of us. But I think that's a common thing, by the way, Thaddeus, is people who experience emotion in wide ranges. When there's too much going on and too much to have feelings for, we tend to go numb because it's just too much to sort through. At least that's what it's like for me.
I don't know. I guess maybe I feel sadness, but I don't typically get sad. It's weird.
I'm right there with you. That's why I like hearing from both of you because I'm definitely not, I can't experience that in the same realm that you two have in terms of like emotion or depression and stuff like that.
You don't have any depression or anxiety?
But I don't I don't get anxious. I don't get depressed, but I definitely agree with what you're saying though, Thaddeus. Like I can see it.
I get anxious in stupid situations and it annoys me, but you can't help it. Like,
and I think that was the difference, Brody, of what I was trying to communicate earlier is just, it's so much harder when you have for lack of a better term, mental illness or a mental health issue. Like
Right.
it is a different level where the thing that most people like me hate the most is when people say positive thinking and that will fix it all. And fuck you, no, it does not. Coming from somebody who has tried the most positive thinking, daily gratitude journals, writing down all the list of things that I care about and that I love and that I'm appreciative for, who is doing everything that I can to not be depressed and anxious every day. And I'm pretty freaking miserable. And so it's really hard in those moments where you're really broken down. You've been fighting with intrusive thoughts all day that are trying to tear you apart. That when you hear somebody say positive thinking, I'm like, it's not working. And so I do get that. It is important to still do it, even if you're not feeling like it's making a difference, because eventually it really does help. It's a part of that healing and it's a part of retraining your brain. So it is very important and effective. But I guess what I was saying is that it's not as easy as it seems for people who have those.
It's totally more so, are you, in order to finally get somewhere, that like, how did you overcome that and decide one day I have to wake up every day and be grateful and positive? And how did you, because I'm sure that wasn't just enough to just say, I'm going to wake up today and be positive. How did you get yourself to believe that? How did you get yourself to not play a victim of your own self and to take control and responsibility for your life every single day? Now, if you revert to depression or anxiety because someone annoyed the hell out of you, how do you accept, like what Sarah's saying, you accept that funk that you're now in and you say, you know what, I'm going to feel all my feelings. And that's okay. And that's allowed to, because I think it's important to feel your feelings. But then how do you wake up the next day and say, okay, I'm going to take responsibility for my life. We're going to go at this positive until someone fucks it up again. I get what
you're saying now. It just clicked for me. I get what Brody's saying.
I think where I guess I feel the same way as Brody does, except for I always preface it with things that are easily within your control.
Right.
The thing there is the difficult part, because a lot of things in your life, everything in your life basically is within your control. But some of those things, depending on the time of your life, might be easy to control or very difficult to control.
Yeah.
So change the easy things.
I think smart.
What just clicked in my brain from the two of you, and where I was like, Brody, yes, okay, I get it, is the difference is that I could have what I'm having right now, bad depression, anxiety, OCD. I could be having those things, and my excuse every day, as if I were playing the victim, is, well, I'm just like, I'm not gonna do anything to help myself because I'm just gonna wallow, versus taking control of what I can do, which is I can get up in the morning at a time that I don't want to, but I should, because it's healthy for me.
I picture you getting up at 3 p.m. with a blanket wrapped around you and coming down the stairs right now.
No, it's more like our kids finally sleep in until 8. But if I force myself to get up, I could get up at 7. I could do my daily gratitude journal, my yoga, and my meditation to start the day off. But I can also play the victim other days and say, woe is me, I have this condition and I just don't want to. Then that is saying I'm not willing to work on it today. And I think that's okay.
Was on my 600-pound life.
Wait, what? What?
I said it, and Sarah was on my 600-pound life.
I don't know what that reference is. Is that a show?
Yes.
Mr. I don't watch shows.
I've never seen it.
Ooh, she's calling you out. She called you out. Fighting words.
If I was a different person, I would eat ice cream all day and lay in bed.
Oh my God. Hell yes. Ice cream. Come on.
You know what? There are people that probably can make a lot of money doing that in this world and be so happy and content. Whereas
it's those Instagram models that don't gain weight from eating whatever they want.
Are you picking?
It's called sucking your belly in.
No, I have like a pinch. I have a pinch in my nose and I'm trying to scratch it.
No, she's digging for gold.
Oh yeah.
She's doing everything she tells her kids not to do right now.
No, they don't pick their nose yet.
Oh, God. Just wait until you have to clean underneath the counters and you're
They
like,
try
what
and
is
touch
that?
their
That's not
butt
bubble gum.
They try and touch their butt as soon as I unravel a poopy diaper. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Anywho, okay, how did we get here? How did we get here? Okay.
I honestly have no idea.
I love, though, that we're talking about this particular aspect of it. Like, the mental health thing is so rough. And so I love that we're discussing what are some of the things that we need to get out of those.
So I'm going to tell you about a couple times like that I got anxious so you can tell me how ridiculous they are.
I don't know. I'm in my own anxiety today, so I might think that they're perfectly fucking reasonable.
No, ridiculous.
Ashley holds her CBD pen.
And I twitch.
Such a good host.
Some good shit.
Oh my God, it looks like it went into Brody's area because there's like a light thing and it looks like there's smoke. Okay, sorry. Tell me about your freakouts. Let's compare anxiety stories.
So,
oh, dear Lord.
A number of years ago, Nick and I were in Barcelona and we were at a riot event and he was working it and I was going to spectate. And we were at the Olympic Stadium in Barcelona.
Wow.
And the ticket booth is like outside of the stadium, like a ways. I went up, gave them my name, and they're like, "We don't have any tickets for you." I'm like, "What?"
Oh no. Oh God.
So I was like frantically texting Nick. I was like, "Where are my tickets and why aren't you here?" Like, I just freaked out.
Yeah.
That was one event.
That was it. So were you having the actual anxiety attack?
Yes,
or was
it what is going on with me? Like, yeah. I'm like, why?
Well, that's scary.
Like, texting Nick. Well, specifically like foreign countries, like not necessarily foreign countries, but unfamiliar situations.
Absolutely.
And the most memorable ones are in foreign countries because you're just like, you feel lost.
Oh my God. Okay, so that one was not crazy. What's the other one?
Even less crazy. Pumping gas in Italy.
That's not crazy to me.
That's what he's saying. He has anxiety over the smallest things.
Could not do it because you have to go.
See.
You have to go pay the attendant to pump your gas.
And yeah, that would give me an anxiety attack too, actually, because it's just like, how do I speak? Like losing your phone or having your phone die when you're in the middle of a foreign country is also one of those things that just puts me into an immediate panic.
So mind you, like I speak
because I'm bad at directions.
0 foreign languages.
0. I speak 0 English.
You're doing great. Reading from the teleprompter. So,
I wish we were that high tech.
So
people need to like this first.
We went to Sicily and they don't speak anything other than Italian.
Yeah.
And so communicating with them was difficult.
Yeah, I bet. It's super stressful in those situations. Those are very culture shock brought on anxiety attacks. The worst anxiety attack, I think I've had a lot, but one of them was how people crack their neck like this. So I was in high school, Brody, in Mr. Acker's history class. If anybody, I don't know, is Mr. Acker still at Santa Monica High School?
I don't know. I never had him.
Oh, I loved him. I thought he was so cute. Hopefully he does not ever hear this. But anyway, so Mr. Acker, I forget the whole point. Why am I telling this story?
I was cracking neck.
It doesn't even have to do with him. I was just in his class and I like cracked my neck. And when the pop happened, I immediately had a panic attack. And I thought that because panic attacks your heart starts racing, blood starts circulating a lot. And so I had blood rush into my neck and I was like, oh no, I just broke my fucking neck. Oh. And so I ran out of the classroom.
You ran out of his classroom?
Yeah, and I'm like, Mom, I think I broke my neck. And she's okay, calm down. The second worst one, because that was the first panic attack I had ever had, and then because you don't know what's happening, you feel like you're literally dying. And then the second one was when I was driving to San Diego with my friends who were from Ireland, and I was showing them around all of Southern California. And we went to one of my ex-boyfriend's parties, and on the way there, I guess I was shoving this emotion down of being super afraid of seeing him. And I started to have a panic attack while driving. So I pulled over, we went to a gas station, and I was in the bathroom of the gas station, sitting on the floor of the bathroom against the like door, heaving, trying to catch my breath, I have no idea where I am or who I am. It was horrible. So when you say crazy, I'm like, that's not crazy. Me having just a thought of seeing an ex, I had to pull over and I was having a fucking panic attack in the bathroom. And they're on the outside going, "Hey, you okay?" And I'm
Your
like,
ex was not seeing if you were okay?
no, just my
Oh,
friends.
I would say that would be
take.
fucking priceless if it was your ex knocking on the door going, Sarah.
And I'm like, ah! Go away. Anywho, so enough about Sarah's fucking crazy in this episode. I want to go back to how is your relationship now with your family, or after hearing how your childhood into your 20s went?
My mom actually talked to the people at her church about me being gay, and they're the ones that told her basically he was born this way, he didn't choose it, blah blah blah.
Wow.
So that was one thing, but they also expected me to be celibate for my entire life.
Okay,
Not
whoa.
kidding.
So they were just like, he was born this way,
But he should be
he's
single
not
forever.
allowed to live that way.
So,
Oh,
Interesting.
My mom did not come to my wedding, and
no.
she made the decision, and I flat out told her, I said, people will think about this forever. And
people, especially me,
right,
your son.
but it ended up being okay. Nick and I just got married. There were literally he and I, our two witnesses, and our friend that did the ceremony.
So your dad
Shit,
wasn't?
that's how Holly and I got married. Beverly
No,
Hills
like,
Courthouse. There's like 6 people there.
Because my mom wasn't gonna go, let's just do the 5 of us. It was our 2 best friends and one of our other friends that, like I said, did the ceremony, and we wrote our own vows, and it was wonderful. Nick had his vows. Might surprise you. He had his vows written for like forever. And
like, not to just a random person, to you.
And he wrote them after he moved to California, but I don't know when exactly.
Oh my God.
I wrote mine the day of.
Okay. That is like actually really shocking to me.
And they were
That's
amazing.
Cute though.
No, because I see them as backwards. I see Thaddeus as more of a
I know. I knew
than
you
Nick.
would.
That's so shocking. Okay. That's so cute. And so even though she didn't go to the wedding, have you guys talked since then?
Yeah, we don't talk about anything serious because it's my life and she doesn't agree with it, so it doesn't matter.
Wow. How do you handle that?
Every day is a new day.
Yeah.
Do you think at this point you've just accepted that?
Yeah, I really have. And I'm not saying my relationship with my mom is bad, because it's not by any stretch of the imagination. It just goes back to, you can't pick your family, but you're basically going to love them no matter what. So while I'll never forget or necessarily, I'm not going to say I won't forgive her, because I probably already have, but for not going to my wedding, but it realistically, like, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
So while I always remember it, it's just another thing that chalk it down, and another thing I've grown from. And
wow.
And then how's the relationship with you and your father now?
It's still very strong. Like,
that's awesome.
He actually, since I started doing rentals and stuff, he's basically my right hand. Like,
No way.
Even though he's getting older and can't do as much as he used to, he's always there. And even if I'm working on a project that he is close to, like, he's usually there before I am in the morning, and I'm like, well, you're crazy, but okay.
It's just uber support.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, are your parents still together?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Grace of something.
You're like, oh wait, so does that mean that you are not religious or spiritual now?
I would say I'm agnostic. I don't believe, but I don't not believe.
Yeah.
maybe something.
Were you
maybe not
ever
something.
spiritual? Did you really ever
there.
feel like that's how you felt in life? Like you believed in God or whatever it may be that as a kid?
I would say yes, I guess to an extent, but it's something you learn more as you grow up and don't necessarily. It's like believing in Santa Claus.
I still believe in the fucker. He doesn't bring me anything, but I still believe in him.
But it's, I mean,
just because that'd be really fucking badass if some fat dude showed up to your chimney.
Oh boy.
But it's
real creepy.
Like, obviously science tells us that God doesn't exist, but in case,
just in case, I'm gonna cover all my bases.
So Sarah, remember I said this, one of my ER physicians has 2 degrees in theology. He is also a hardcore scientist, and he has studied a lot of shit, and he is a crazy speaker. But the one thing he says, and I said this, I think on last episode, or the one before that, was we don't know shit about shit. And I asked him, I said, well, do you pray? And he goes, absolutely. It would be stupid for me not to. And he said, any good scientist or any real scientist will say the same thing. Because if we don't know shit about shit, then who's to say that something like that doesn't exist?
Michael is the person to say that it doesn't exist. I am so that person. That's one of our first real arguments as a couple was I believe in ghosts and he does not. Just because I've experienced some shit and I could be completely wrong.
It's called bad gas.
Yeah, maybe I had just a very vivid dream. Who knows? But I am willing to say that
I have a hell of an imagination.
I do. I don't know either way. And
I am honestly, I'm with you on this. Okay, so Nick and Michael are very similar.
They are. They're
you
like,
and I are like
only science.
Because I feel the same way. Like I may have seen a ghost sometime, and maybe I'm crazy, but I wasn't drinking at that time. So
okay, yes, and I'm pretty sure I know what I saw, but who knows? I'm willing, as a person who actually values knowledge, to just be open-minded that I could have been totally wrong, but I also could have been. So who knows? And
I think that's
Brody,
the best part, right?
Yeah.
Being open-minded to the what ifs in life is like the coolest fucking part of it.
I know.
I mean, I don't know.
The possibility. There's just possibility.
Going, if you could know the future or knew the date you were going to die, would you?
No, hell
no.
No. I would obsess over that until I died.
Yeah. Oh, you're fucking crazy. So we know that.
I know. I would have been just not cool, man. Yeah. But then I'd be obsessing not finding out too.
I don't think anybody would ever want to know that. I mean, even if they said
would
they
you,
did,
Brody?
The second you know that, then that's the date. That's your countdown timer.
And then there's pressure and you're not actually enjoying anything. Like my date nights with my husband where we have such little time that once the time comes, we spend an hour talking about what we're going to do because there's too many things because we know we have limited time and then the whole night's gone and we didn't actually do anything.
So this reminds it reminds me of a movie, Stranger Than Fiction. I think it's Will Ferrell.
Oh yeah.
It's like that. If you've not seen it, it's amazing. But
I think I've seen it. Sorry, I was just hearing Michael. He's singing the baby to sleep.
Premise is that he's hearing the narrator narrate his life, but she's writing the book, and then he finds out that she always kills the people in her books. So he has to try and find her before she kills him, basically. And
okay, I have not seen this.
It's really cool.
Okay. No, that's next on my list.
I have an actual question though.
Uh-oh.
Like a real, this is like this. So if you found out you were going to die in 2 years from this day, 2 years, like really sit on it, just accept it and believe it for 2 seconds. Okay. Would you change the way you live your life right now?
I would move to San Francisco, but other than that, no. Because I feel really accomplished this year.
No, I don't think so.
If I had power.
Hold on to that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hold on 1 second. With Thaddeus, go ahead.
No, I don't think I would. Because regardless of everything that happened in 2020 to everything and everyone and blah, 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 we're going to hear about this for the rest of our lives, literally.
Yep.
I think we're on a pretty good path.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because I totally agree with you. Like I am, because it has the idea of, I did a poll on Instagram the other day, yesterday, 2 days ago. I don't know if you saw it. No, you didn't, because I feel like you would have partaked. But I said, are you living the life of your dreams? And so it was interesting to see the amount of people who said yes or no. Majority were no.
Really?
Then the following question was, are you actively working towards the life you want to live? Small percentage were yes. I shouldn't say small. It was greater than 50%, but definitely less than I anticipated.
Wow.
If you're dying in 2 years, I guess it wouldn't change anything, but I would probably want to travel more. I would want to see more. I don't know
so
what,
that's
for what
the point,
benefit.
Though. But so that's where I'm trying to get at, I guess, is like the big aha is that, are you happy where you are in life? Because a lot of people who complain or say things, they don't really realize what they want, or they want more, but they don't take action on it. They aren't living actively. Right. They're living more passively.
Also,
and so
I gotta say,
if you did know you were going to die in 2 years and you would say yes, then what's stopping you from doing that now? Because you have a whole nother 60 years to live, possibly. It's only because we feel like we have so much time left that we're not going to take chances and risks to like really live that life that we actually want. That goes back to what Sarah said, though, was this year she feel like she actually feels very accomplished. So many people have talked so much shit about 2020, but more people have developed self-worth in 2020 and have overcome a lot actually than they give themselves to believe.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is really fucking cool.
It is.
Anyways, that's my rant. Fuck off.
No, I love it. And I'm honestly, I'm just really thinking deeply about that question. And it's interesting because it's a really good question that would cause anybody to sit in it for a moment. But B, it's a hard question to answer when we're in like the middle of a pandemic. Because right now, if you're like me, this pandemic has hit you very hard. Being an extrovert who can't go out and we're stuck inside, and we're lucky in so many ways. And I don't discount my blessings for being able to, Michael, keep his job and I can take care of the kids and all that stuff. But it's also extremely, you get it. It's a hard time. And so answering that question now when the future seems so uncertain is also tough, because
but it's not about the future. It's about living in the moment. That's the trick of it.
But it is about the future, because you're asking, what am I do I love my life? And if not, what am I doing to fix it? So it's all thinking about the future. It's thinking about, if I want to be an elementary school teacher, which I do in the future, I'm not working toward that now, and I could be, right? And so it's just, my mind just went to this place of, interesting. Like in COVID, my answer is no. I think I'm happy with where I'm at. But if COVID was finally gone and the world was back open, yeah, I think I would change more things.
But why do we have to wait for something like COVID to be over to take control of our lives? Why are we letting COVID act as a weight for ourselves to keep us down?
Because I think what I want right now, the ranking is different.
Sarah's just, I just want to go outside
so badly. I think it's an important thing, though, because it is where you are now changes what your priorities are. And so right now my priority isn't getting another degree. It's taking care of my mental health and my kids, because that's the most important right now. But if COVID was over and I had a babysitter for my kids, then I could start thinking more about me and my personal kind of goals.
Is there anything that you could do in the meantime that you could think of that you could work towards your personal goals? Even
this is
an hour a day.
Why does he ask such hard questions?
Because he really wants to get to the core of every human's being.
He should have been taking the tequila shots.
Yeah, hold on, Brody. Are you living your best life?
I actually do feel content. I feel like I keep myself so busy with the things that I want to do.
Yes, that was such a cop-out.
I agree with you. Okay, I accept that. I am happy with where I'm at. However, I will say, the one thing I would like to do more of is travel and see the world.
Yes. Oh,
and the only thing keeping me back from that right now
is COVID. See, I told you.
No, because I could easily travel the US. I could get a Sprinter van and go travel the US. But my immediate goal right now is finishing my prereqs for nursing school and getting into nursing school, which COVID is not going to stop me. If anything, it's a lot of people quit going to school. And if anything, I did the opposite and I said, fuck that. Shit's online. I'm going to take advantage of this and do as much as I can then.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
You can take your goals and rearrange them.
I have no career change goals. Sorry about that.
That's good though.
Listen,
you don't need to have career change goals. You don't need to have this like life-altering decision. You could be like, no, I'm on the couch eating ice cream, watching Netflix, and you're perfectly content in life. That's so fucking
Brody,
awesome.
In that case,
Discovery Plus.
Hell yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
But Brody, you're right. Yes, you're right. There's always something that we could be thinking of moving toward. But I also think that there's a beauty in such a like incredible lucky moment if the answer to that question is I am so happy with where I'm at right now, even in the midst of a pandemic or what's going on. Like I feel really proud of what I've done. Like if I were to say in a year, there's a lot of things I'd like to be different. I'd like to feel better as a mother. I'd like to feel more confident as a mother. I would love to not be depressed, anxious, and crazy. I'd love to feel closer to my husband. I would love to be able to go outside. There's a lot of those things. And I love the idea that when I'm enumerating them, there are certain ones that I can control and there's certain ones that I can't. And so I get what you're saying in terms of if you want to be closer to your husband, there are things that I could be doing to do that, like scheduling more date nights. If I want to feel like a better mother, keep going to therapy is probably the only thing I can think of.
Okay, so
putting on makeup. A lot of drugs.
Wait. Yeah. Sarah talked about this after Oliver was born. We were sitting at the table. I don't know. Oliver may have gone to bed already.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. But she said, all parents fall into one category or the other. They either want to shake babies or eat them.
What I meant was, because that sounded really bad. Okay.
That sounds really bad.
What I said was, they're not even parents. All people fall into two categories. You're either the person who wants to eat the baby, not like cannibal, like eat the baby, like munch on them. Like your love for them is so strong that you want to give them kisses or eat their cheeks.
Oh, squeeze and shake them. It was squeeze them.
Right. And then
so why can't you just cuddle your baby, not eat them?
No, this is what I'm saying. Listen, the other person is the person who has the more tactile, like physical love for a baby, that when they feel overwhelmed with love for a baby, they want to squeeze them really tight. And that's Adam. So my brother has that one where he always wants to squeeze them so tight because he loves them so much.
Sarah
I am the munch on the cheeks one. Yeah. There's a little bit of both.
Go to therapy.
I know. But that is not a weird thing. Ask mothers everywhere.
No, like I think I'm the squeeze. We got a puppy and I just want to squeeze her.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing. Also, I might add for viewers or listeners, Thaddeus said my kid was not cute when he came out. And I was so offended by it.
No kids are cute when they come out.
And then I looked at pictures recently
of when he
first came out and I was like,
people should be honest and say, no, that thing looks hideous.
Oh my God. But at the moment, I remember being so offended because I'm like, that's my child. And then I looked at pictures recently of him as a newborn and I'm like, oh yeah, that's funky.
Thaddeus was right.
So he definitely wasn't like the cute thing he is now.
I have no filters, zero.
No, he really doesn't.
All as it is.
Which makes me feel so much love when he showers me with love.
So my cousin's first kid, when it was born, my mom's, oh my God, you gotta go to the hospital.
I knew you were gonna say that.
When he was born, she's like, oh my God, you gotta go to the hospital and see him. He's so cute. And I was like, that's not cute. Not at all. Nope. Thank goodness he has grown up to be a cute kid.
God. Oh my God. Uncle Thaddeus really thinks you're ugly.
So I was talking to my cousin about it a couple of years ago or whatever. And she's, oh my God, I could not look at him without crying.
Oh yeah, no, that happens.
Like, whoops.
I'm super lucky.
Especially if
I
it's
didn't
not out
have
of
that.
joy and it's out of, oh, what just happened?
It's okay. The journey is different for everybody, but there's no shame if you look at your child or someone else's child and say, "Ooh, I hope you get
Mother,
cuter."
would you like to hold your kid?
You definitely did
No.
do
You can
that.
have
You're
skin
like,
time with daddy first.
No, I thought my kid was the most beautiful child to ever exist.
and
the
then you
second-
saw the light.
And then now seeing how beautiful he is now with like beautiful eyes and his big old cheeks.
So
my goodness.
He grew out of the not cute phase real quick.
Yeah, he did. He did. I remember it. He was like 4 or 5 months old, and you guys came over for dinner, and I was showing you a picture, or I was like, he was sitting at the dinner table with us before he went to bed.
Well, that's probably
and
how it
you
happened.
were like, he's cute now, but he was real weird looking when he was born. And I was like, you didn't tell me this. You didn't tell me this. But I get what you're saying. They also start looking like, I will say though that, okay, I hope my sons never hear this episode. But Milo, when he was first born, I'm like, he was a cute newborn from the get-go. At least I thought so. Oliver, I knew he looked a little funky just because he was swollen and his nose was all like crazy and his jaw was all messed up. So he had actual issues, but I'm going to stop talking now because I don't want to say things that
I'm glad you did it because I was going to ask and put you on the spot so that when your kids heard this in 5 years.
Oliver had a really rough birth. It was 3 hours of pushing, 56 hours like in crisis in my stomach. Whereas Milo came out in 2 pushes, y'all. He was like, I'm good. So he wasn't swollen at all. He looked cute.
What's up, motherfuckers out here?
He wasn't swollen. He looked adorable.
How much did he weigh?
6 pounds, 6 ounces. And
so
Oliver was 7 pounds, 7 ounces.
Inappropriate, but that seems like how a gay would come out. Hello.
Oh, I was like, which part? The ounces?
I was like, everything's fair game on this podcast.
I think Oliver is actually gay. There's no way to know. It's just a feeling that I have. No, it's just a feeling that I have. And I could be wrong. I don't care. I don't have any stock in it.
So
I don't have any stock. I love that term.
So this
is going to be weird. That stock.
I always look at kids in public and be like, oh, that's going to be a queen.
Right.
So you're like just super judgmental of kids. I love it.
No, but
I want to see this in action. Can we go through Disneyland and just watch you pick out all the kids? Right. Queen, really big queen.
One I remember specifically was at an amusement park in Iowa. This kid, like, hand on the hip, fucking everything. I'm just like, oh, I hope they know.
Yeah, and this is the thing. My mom's also my stepmom Deirdre. She's, don't put that on him. And I'm like, there's no shame in I'm not putting it on him. I'm just saying it's a very real possibility that he's gay. It's the same thing as assuming that he's going to be straight. And this is by my lesbian mothers. But my mom is like, oh, he's gay.
Your mom says everyone's gay.
They both say everyone's gay. And they're like 50-50. There's like really, they don't have a good track record. But no, but my mom, it's interesting to see my mom go into like the stereotypical versions of it where because she's gay herself, but she goes into this whole, because my son has this posture that's very feminine.
That much time with him.
What?
I said we didn't spend that much time.
That's
with
why
him.
I'm like, there's got to be. Is there something inherent?
Nick did hold
because
him a
my
lot.
God, oh my God, so cute. But yeah, but you guys aren't.
You're like rubbing him on your chest. Come on.
I would not say either of you are.
You guys are so ridiculous.
And so it's more of a femininity, masculinity type of thing, and so Oliver definitely walks around doing this, and he loves Frozen, and I don't know, he loves tap dancing and musicals, and he likes wearing my wig at Halloween. Those things I don't say, I would not look at and be like, oh, he's gay for sure. It's just a other feeling that I have about my son. But my mom, it goes into this stereotypical area, which I just find fascinating because she's gay. And I feel, isn't that not something that we want to just continue?
So a lot of people don't understand or don't know. There's like studies or polls, I guess, that have been done that like it's an estimated between 15 and 20% of the global population identifies or would identify as something other than straight.
25% of the population?
15 to 20.
Wow.
And that could be anything. That could be like bisexual, gay, and a lot of these
pansexual,
anything other than straight. So when you're thinking about that, it's like 1 in 5 people.
Right. This is what I tell my students. They used to think it was 1 in 8, but that's just because that was when no one was admitting to.
And the numbers are going to be skewed based on, let's say, San Francisco or Brazil,
right.
Yeah.
If you have like certain geographical areas.
Well, yeah, and there's a ton of countries and cultures in the world right now where being gay is still not.
Right.
Not even
very
recognized.
Not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The possibility that your son is not straight is pretty good.
Especially if we keep having more kids.
But don't tell him he's gay.
No, of course not. I'm just more of the mind of like, when we have conversations and somebody says, oh, he's going to be a lady killer, I will just jump in and say, or a man killer. That sounds like a different thing in today's world, like a hired hitman, but you know what I'm trying to go for, which is I just don't want, we underestimate or we don't recognize how much we put on to kids based in how they should act based on their gender, but also how they should act in terms of sexuality. Every single person has said he's going to be a lady killer. And I'm like, first of all,
basically,
I get saying
what you have to understand too is that it's not your job to correct them.
But I think it is my job for my son, at least.
It's your job to make sure that your children are educated and understand what it means and that it's okay.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
not something,
and I just
full circle, that's not something I grew up with.
I don't want my son to have to come out, basically. I want it to be as normal as someone who's straight who doesn't have to come out.
I'm gay,
right? Like I never had to come out. It was just assumed and it was fine. Like I just, in my, at least what I can control, and it's never shaming anybody who says he's going to be a lady killer. I make it more of a joke, like, or he, you never know. But it does help to make sure that whenever my son is hearing these conversations, that mom consistently makes sure that there's never a moment where I don't correct it. And then he thinks, oh, so I have to be with a woman because I'm a man. You know what I mean?
And I think like it's going to be different for your kids and maybe someday our kids or whatnot, in the fact that it's not the 90s anymore. It's not. Thankfully, we do live in the US where it's gay marriage was passed in 2008? Ish, somewhere around there.
It was passed in 2007 because that's when my moms got married, and then taken away in 2007, and then reinstituted, I think in like 2009 or 2008.
Yeah, something like that. So
crazy.
Like I said, realistically, like it's going to be different for your kids and different from generations going on, because it's more widely accepted and more. I don't even feel like accepted is the right word. Like I hate using that word.
I know.
But it's more, I don't know what word.
Allowed is also not a great word, but it's the only synonym.
It's more it is just it is.
We are in the age of internet where people can read things.
Yes.
And become more educated about.
However, people still just like to read goddamn headlines.
Oh my God, we just need.
What's wrong with that?
Oh boy. Okay, so I think this has been like such a wonderful conversation and so eye-opening, and I have to say thank you first of all for being so vulnerable and willing to talk about this, because I can't imagine that it's easy to bring up all of your own past experience with bad things and good things, but trauma specifically is really hard to be open about. So I thank you for doing that, and I think and I hope that a lot of the listeners were able to, I don't know, identify. Or find solace in what you're talking about today.
Solace.
If looks could kill.
It's funny because he always says solace, and I'm like, it's solace, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. But anyway, so thank you, Thaddeus.
There are ways to find out.
Right. Google. So Brody, do you want to ask the last thing about what we always ask our listeners before we head out?
My name's Sarah, and I talk away from the mic like this, really.
I'm sorry.
And then I come back. No, so one thing we like to always ask our guests at the end of the show: closer, farther, closer, farther. if there's something that you wanted to ask the audience or leave with the audience, any advice or anything like that, what would you say? Sometimes it's what would you tell your younger self?
I was supposed to
I
be
think is a
warned
common
against
one.
questions like this.
No, we like to ask you on the fly so that way you're not prepared.
I should have watched the entire first episode. No, basically, my whole life has been you have to live for yourself. That would be probably the best advice. Yeah. Because doing what other people tell you to do or being what other people think you should be is going to be the hardest part of your life. Because that doesn't give you a chance to know who you're supposed to be.
Yeah. God, that's
and this
beautiful.
is exactly why we don't tell people we're asking this question.
Yeah, because that was just fucking glorious.
I'm amazing.
You are amazing, and that's why we have you. We have you on
great.
the show. This is exactly why we invited you, and so I think that's just such beautiful advice. And a part of that you shared with us in your story was getting out and experiencing the world on your own, away from your family for a little bit. Being able to get away from other people's social expectations of who they
Basically
want you to be so that you can know who you are. Yeah. San Francisco was that for me. Brody, have you had, what was that for you?
No.
He hasn't had it yet.
Buck wild.
I don't know. I feel like my life is just happened in a blink of an eye.
Oh God, isn't it? It's awful.
I have to ask a question. In quarantine, what is something you look forward to that you never would have looked forward to before?
Oh, I love that.
I would always work so much overtime before, and although there's a plethora of it, I work 0 overtime now in terms of working at the hospital, and everything else is for myself.
That's great. Although I'm a little pissed because I'm like, really, when we can't see each other, you finally have more time off? I really love that question. I love when also, hello, can we like talk about for a second that Thaddeus became the interviewer for a minute? And it's like now my new favorite thing. And we definitely have to have everybody do this. Okay. This is maybe a little cynical, but it's genuinely my answer, which is I really look forward to a drink at the end of the day.
Didn't you look forward to that before?
You were just pregnant for the last 2 years. I've been pregnant for the last 2 years. That's right.
So it's not quarantine. It's the pregnancy.
No, I think, you know what it is? Actually, it's that for real. That's it. But also, I've never looked forward to scheduled Zoom calls or any scheduled time with friends as much as I do now. Like I need it to survive. Whereas before, last minute going out for dinner and stuff would give me great anxiety. Now, like if we schedule a Zoom call on Thursday night, like we did today, I've been looking forward to this all week.
Mic drop. Headphone
I got too excited and I unplugged my headphones. Anyway, so that I love that as an end all question.
What about you, Thaddeus? God damn it! Why I asked this question?
I don't know. I guess being able to spend time with my husband.
Yeah.
Aww.
Because I know that some people's relationships have gotten harder.
Yeah. So many people are breaking up and getting divorces through this thing.
That's what's good though. It's just expose their weaknesses.
Right.
Yes. Get to know your partner intimately and find out if you still want to be with them.
So the thing for Nick and I has always been go on a road trip with whoever you're getting ready to date, because once you put 2 people in a car together and send them away off the country or whatever,
you'll get to know them real quick.
I think every relationship, you want to get married? Okay, guess what? You have to quarantine for 30 days together first.
Wait, I could do you one better. How about a whole year?
How about one whole year? Because we are at that
I feel
point
like people
now.
didn't even need a year. They just needed 3 months. And they were like, fuck you. I'm out.
You guys, this is blowing my mind right now because you're making me think about my own relationship where I have really learned that I might have a real issue because with Michael, I've never gotten bored with him. And that's before we had kids, and we've been together 7, almost 8 years now. And I thought like anybody would maybe get bored of him eventually in COVID. but I miss him now more than I've ever missed him. But that's probably because we have 2 kids and I'm alone taking care of them all day, and then
She's just like,
he's
would
at
you
work.
hurry up and get off work so you can take care of the monsters?
Please help me. But also, oh, we have no time together ever. Anyway, that's just an interesting thing that I actually expected it to go a different way, but now I'm finding myself just desperate for connection with him. So I'm glad that you feel like you've had that with Nick, because it's so important. And I love that your relationship has gotten stronger and
I
not
mean,
one of the
we've
couples
always
that fell
been good
apart.
before.
Yeah.
So
Good. If you have a good foundation, you can get through anything. You know,
communication is everything. Like something he and
everything.
I found out like pretty early is a lot of people have difficulty talking about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So we would always just, in the early days, like I would just email him, send him an email, something that's uncomfortable to
That's
talk
so
about.
cute.
And now it's just, we just text message everything,
Yeah.
including marriage proposals, apparently. But if you have something difficult to say to your spouse or partner or something that maybe it's hard to bring up face to face or whatever, just text them. It's 2021 now.
Yeah. For real. Maybe don't break up with somebody via text, but
No,
definitely have those conversations.
That was not what I meant.
I know. You just brought me to that whole area because I'm like, is that a thing? Do people still do that?
Michael, if she
She's
does
like,
it,
"That
it's not my
happened."
fault.
No. Oh my God, no, never. I need more of him. More of him.
Sad
Give me more.
panda.
Anyway, I really love this conversation. Thank you so much, Thaddeus. We love you. And we're so glad that you were able to come on and just bare your soul, tell us your story, and be willing to do all that.
And don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a review because it helps us out.
Yeah. And also, I see, Brody, you put a little challenge for them on this list. For
Did I?
any of our listeners or watchers, leave a comment below of your own resilience story.
Oh, I did write that.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, give us a shout out. Leave us an information. Wow.
Head over to the IG, which is Worth Wandering Podcast, and drop a comment because you'll see Thaddeus' beautiful face on there.
Yeah, it's a pretty face. Pretty.
Pretty.
All right.
Thank you.
We love you all. Live a life you love.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye now.
Bye.
Deuces.